this continued attack on working class people, on unions. I never would have dreamed that we'd have the attack that we've had to turn Michigan into a right to work. Right to work is something that you see down south. Unions aren't as strong. It was the unions that built the middle class in this country. It's unions that brought the 40-hour work week. They worked hard to get rid of child labor. We wouldn't have what we have today. Even if you don't belong to a union, you've been impacted by the work that unions have done. So to answer your question, how are we going to win that support and to bring unions back to the strength? I think a lot of the union members are still there and they're holding fast to those values. But I think we're going to see a slow erosion to the membership in unions just over the years if we continue to keep right to work. Now what we need to do is to win back the control, to get the Democratic control of the House, hopefully the Senate, the governor's mansion, and to be able to do that. And only then are we going to be able to get rid of the right to work state, the laws that exist.
In favor of raising the minimum wage?
Yes, I think we do need to. I think it's really difficult. You see a lot of single parent, thanks Dan, you see a lot of single parent homes where they're having to work 2 or 3 jobs and to be able to support their family, and they're struggling. I think a fair wage is not something that we should, we need to seriously look at it, and we need to do it in a careful manner. We're starting to see a comeback in Michigan. Obviously, we've hit the hardest recession that we've had since the Great Depression, and we're slowly starting to come back. And I think it can be done in a manner. I know a lot of business owners that think that it's a good thing. So hopefully we'll look at it seriously. I know at the federal level, the president's pushing that forward for federal workers, and hopefully we'll do that in Michigan as well. So.
You seem very strong on women's rights as well, including reproductive health, which is, I think a lot of women in Michigan have been very frustrated.
Oh, it's just amazing to me to think that you've got, for the most part, the majority of middle-class, middle-aged men are dictating what women should and shouldn't do with their reproductive rights and their health care. And we got to change that. I mean, that's absurd. To me, those decisions are between a woman and her doctor, her family, and her God. And those are decisions that they need to be able to make themselves, not having the interference with some politicians, mostly middle-aged white males are determining or deciding how those rights should be. So I think we need to do a lot more to support women. Continued attack on women, middle class, public education. I'm really concerned what I see in public education that's taking place in our state. They're continuing to work hard and they won't be satisfied until they strangle public education and privatize the whole thing. And that's just scary to me. I'm a product of public education, and I really believe. Actually, one of the people that were here today was a former teacher of mine back at Walter French Junior High. So it's good to see Mr. Griffiths here, and I'm a real believer in it. So.
One last question. Jim Powers in Ann Arbor is the head of pediatric cannabis pediatric aids. He has a young son who has a severe kidney condition, and only cannabis oil helps him. And right now, we see laws stalled in the legislature that would allow his son to have the medication in the form he needs it. Is that another issue we hope will move forward if we can get enough Democrats in?
Well, I think the people of Michigan spoke. They voted. It was a ballot initiative. Now I think that's where the legislators need to stand up, and they need to show that leadership that the people that elected them to put them in office, and we need to make determinations and decisions on how that's to be done. I think that you hear those stories of children or adults for that matter that have the medical conditions, and they see noticeable improvement, or if not improvement, at least support as far as the pain that they're going through because of their condition that they're receiving from the use of cannabis and those oils. So I think that people are a lot smarter than I am. Those scientists and the doctors, the medical community, are making those determinations. There's got to be a way, and I think as legislators that we've not done our job. And again, the people of Michigan decided that on the ballot. We need to step up, set those guidelines, and then get out of the way and let it happen. So.